Jayden Daniels dealing with a hamstring. We do not yet know the severity of the injury. The Commanders have just said that it's not going to keep him out for an extended period of time, but we don't know if he's going to miss this weekend's game, Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, or not, or how much practice time he may miss. So we're back in everyone will have to have their eyes peeled on the practice field.
Whatever that is. Yeah.
Use their binoculars. Is he going to practice? Is he not? Will he play? Won't he? That kind of thing. Here's my question for people, and we can open up the listener lines on this at 800-636-1067. It feels like their season's on the line this weekend, in a sense. I mean, you're 3-4. Things are spiraling out of control. You lose on Monday Night Football to the Chiefs. You're 3-5. There's a percentage I'm sure we could find on teams that make the playoffs after starting at 3-5, and it's very, very rare that you're going to get into the playoffs. And, oh, by the way, in conference, with a 1-4 NFC record, you're going to have the Seahawks off a bye and then the Lions coming up. And it's going to feel like you're on the way, at best, to like 4-6 at that point, right? Should that in any way give them a little bit more wiggle room with Jayden Daniels to allow him to play if he's telling you, if you want to trust him and how he knows his body best, hey, I'm fine. Trust me. My hamstring's okay. The doctors are saying it's not serious. It's a pain threshold thing. Or because it's a hamstring, do you just say absolutely not? Joe Theismann was on with B. Mitch and Finley, I heard right after the game on Monday, and he basically came out and said, look, if you pull your hamstring at all, you shouldn't play the following week when you're moving around like him at quarterback because you're asking for problems. I'm paraphrasing. But that's my philosophy as well.
Yeah.
Which is, did you injure your hamstring? Yes. Do you play a skill position, essentially, where you use twitch and explosiveness and burst and speed, and do you run with the football? In his case, the answer is yes. If you're, I don't know, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, or, Sam Darnold or something, maybe it's a little less that. But in his case, you're 100% going to be running around 7 to 10 times. Then I'm sorry, I probably just have to wait an extra week and let that thing heal up. What I don't know is, and I'd love to ask a doctor about this, by playing on even a minor hamstring, is he making it more likely that he pulls it again? Or is it a non-factor that, like, you did it a little bit, but it's not like a muscle where now it's stretched and it's going to tear, like nothing like that?
Right.
So if there's no added risk, okay, fine. I'm assuming that's not how hamstrings work. I would think. I remember like Santana Moss with the Jets early in his career. It was like every 3 weeks his hamstring something would happen again. You see this with guys all the time here over the years. So my default is, sorry, dude, I know it's a huge game, but if you're not 100%, and I have a hard time imagining you will be, you got to sit.
Yeah, I am clearly not Jayden Daniels, was ever the athlete that Jayden Daniels is now. But I pulled my hamstring. And even after I felt like I could go to a degree, no matter how much wrapping or heating or prep or massage or whatever, there was this, the trainer had to say, you got to slow down. You cannot get back too early. Otherwise, you are absolutely at risk of re-aggravating. Now, I have no idea if it's the injury is the same or the extent or what grade or what part of the hamstring was strained. It was this head or this lateral or this part or whatever. I have no idea. Point is, having done it, I can tell you that that's absolutely a risk. He's sitting for me. And I tell him, thank you very much. Let's look to next week, even though it's dire. My view, especially when you have a quarterback that is this important to everybody's future, please take care. Please exercise caution. Please be judicious. You don't rush that player back, otherwise you risk more. You risk now the tear that keeps you out forever. As far as I know, as far as again, if medical doctors are like, yeah, he's fine, it literally is just he'll be fine by Thursday, then by all means. But I'm talking about if there's any doubt, you sit him out to go Johnny Cochran on you. If there's doubt, he sits out for me, especially with a hamstring, especially with something that, again, it isn't a toughness thing. A broken rib is a toughness thing. The hamstring is not a toughness thing. That's can the muscle go? Can you do it physically or not? It's not I'm daring you to get through it and take your Toradol shot. That's not the conversation here that I'm having. This is is he further at risk? My guess is yes. That means he's sitting out regardless of how important this game happens to be.
Yeah, so I told Darius this. We're going to try to get some type of, football doc on, maybe one of these guys that plays doctor and talks fantasy football on Twitter or whatever. But what I am curious about and what I really want to know is, am I correct in my theory that when you pull your hamstring just a little bit, just that tiny little, by the way, it didn't look that minor when it happened.
It looked like it was painful.
To his credit, he went into the blue tent. He could barely move getting off the field. He was like stiff as a board. Then he got into the blue tent. We saw him come out. He gives his mom a thumbs up. was like magic potion was put on his hamstring, and he basically jogged off the field. He looked way, 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 way better. And I talked to a couple people that were in Dallas that saw him in the locker room and around the facility at the bottom of the stadium in the bowels as he's getting on the buses and stuff. And they said he was moving pretty well. Like, he did not look overly compromised. So that's a really, really good sign. There's a big difference, though, between your gait walking or even a jog off the sideline and the starting and the stopping. Because if you look at it, what happened was he tweaked the hamstring, as Dan Quinn said, the play before, the one that we saw where he lost the fumble, the ball's on the ground, and he's grabbing his leg. And initially I'm going, oh my God, please don't be his knee. That's what I initially thought.
Yeah, like the back of his knee or whatever, not the ACL, but like another CL or something.
You're wearing a knee brace. You got this knee injury. Yeah. He plants and kind of immediately grabs his leg and goes to the ground like he got shot in the back of the leg. And I'm going, oh no, please God. Now, pretty quickly you could tell it was more hamstring than knee, which is, I hate to say this, great news. The way he moved off the field, I thought, that's a couple weeks. Like, here we go again kind of thing. The way he jogged then after giving the thumbs up to his mom, I'm going, oh, maybe he comes back in the game. And there was never a possibility of doing that because they were just out of the game so far. Why would you even ask him to do that? But now when you're talking about going ahead to next week, it's either one of two things. Either he's 100%. I don't think either of us think that's going to be the case after how that looked when it initially happened. Or he's not 100% and you're going to allow him to play on it. I just feel like a hamstring for a guy like him, you're talking receiver, running back, running quarterback, kind of same ilk of what you're asked to do on the football field. Why are you putting him in a spot where it could get worse? And my theory is, a doctor could tell me I'm wrong, this is one of those injuries where you come back too soon on a hamstring, you're going to miss a bunch of time with a hamstring potential.
It's easy to risk aggravating it. And again, it's involuntary stuff. I don't know how to describe it to you. It's easy to say, be careful, right? This isn't riding a bike slowly, or this isn't like, taking your time on a slippery driveway when it's covered in ice. This is a explosive athletic movement that's involuntary. And as adrenaline's flowing and the blood's pumping and you're trying to make an explosive movement and the leg just gives out. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be doomsday here when it comes to it, but how many guys have had that strained calf into the Achilles thing? Now, I know it's not the same muscle group, but ask Halliburton about it. Ask Kevin Durant about that. Ask, Kobe Bryant. Actually, you can't, of course, anymore. Not to be flippant about it, but that Achilles injury happened when you're vulnerable with muscle strains or muscle pulls or whatever. Right? It's like it is. You're more vulnerable there to re-injury, to aggravation. Then it's not a week where you're limited. It's a season where it tears off the bone, which is a totally different animal than you're walking in a little bit ginger and you got to spend some extra time in the cold tub after practice or put a little heat pad on it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, this is not worth the risk.
So I do go opposite the school of thought that it seems like some part of the fan base has, which is anytime this guy's dealing with anything, the default is like, shut him down, can't play. Like the overly protection, being overly protective,
yeah,
of him because like there's just this anxiety and this fear, and you can't get Robert Griffin out of your head or whatever. So I'm not going fully there. I can't do that. Every injury is different. It should be evaluated. Doctors should have a say. They should tell you how serious it is, and then you should weigh it. What's he able to do on the practice field, and what isn't he? So I'm not just ruling him out now behind the scenes saying, you're not going this week, Jayden, and telling him that straight up. But on a scale between that and it's going to be up to him, and if he wants to get through it, then that's fine, because this is the biggest game of our season. I guess I'm closer to the first one. But I am going to be very, very careful with a hamstring. Because my perception, and if you guys know more, tell me, 800-636-1067, is that you're playing with fire when you're talking about pushing it on a hamstring that's not quite right. Carlos in Savannah Park, you're on the fan. What's up, buddy?
You're talking about scales. Look, between a 1 and a Thor, I call this a Loki, all right? There's no doubt about it that we are going to invest in our franchise. They should invest in their franchise quarterback and sit him out. Because like Joe Theisen says, you can't come back from a 1-week hamstring injury. And obviously, just put Marcus Mariota in. I'm not nervous of putting him a backup in for Jayden Daniels just to rest. We have a brutal schedule coming up. Chris Jones is licking his chops. If he does start, because I'm pretty sure he wants to sack him. But that's just my take on it. Thanks for taking the call, guys.
Thank you, buddy. Douglas in Silver Spring, I believe, is an orthopedic surgeon. This is what I'm talking about.
Like a real adult.
This is what we need.
With extra schooling, Douglas.
Let's move him off the listener line. Let's put him on the Rude guest hotline. Rude, the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. You're sponsored, Douglas. What's up, buddy? How are you?
All right. Good, good, good. So just wanna say, Grant, you're 100% on the money here. I don't think the doctors will clear him. I don't know who they'll blame it on, but that's the first thing you tell people with hamstring, medial gastroc tears, very similar, calf muscle tears. They get worse. You got to take some time. You got to get it 100%.
So how
you're 100% correct.
Like a minor hamstring, let's just say it's very minor. What does that mean really in terms of timeline and like feeling okay to open up full gait?
Well, if it's incredibly minor, the MRI would have been negative. They wouldn't have seen anything. So you can pull your hamstring with a negative MRI. If they saw something on the MRI, which it sounds like they did, then it's not minor anymore. It's at least medium. Okay.
And what's that look like in terms of what you'd allow him to do or how long he's got to wait probably?
I bet you right now that he won't play this week, and I bet you he's 50-50 for the week after that. That's just, I know nothing about I have no inside knowledge. I'm just telling you, if they saw something on his MRI scan, then it's not an absolute nothing burger.
Right. But the gist then is, like, my philosophy or kind of my theory, like, this is not something to mess with, and playing on one that's not quite right is a dangerous risk, you would say is correct.
Even if he was playing pickleball, I would tell him to take next week off. And believe me, we see more people playing pickleball than quarterbacking in the NFL.
Douglas, no, don't say that.
Oh, you just worried Danny. It's only a matter of time.
Well, I'm going to come see you.
I mean, you're going to one time go to hit a ball, and it ain't going to go.
I'll be wandering into your office on one leg.
All right, mosportsmedicine.com. Call us up.
There you go. Thank you, Douglas. We appreciate you.
All righty.
All right, so he's confirming my theory. I'm not a doctor. He is.
I mean, again, you've seen enough of these soft tissue things where at some point you're going to have to kick it into high gear, and sometimes the body doesn't comply. Again, it's not a toughness thing. The distinction for me, the two camps you laid out earlier, I think you did very well. I err way more towards the side of caution for my young franchise quarterback than I think a lot of people might, whether that's Griffin-related or my own trauma or whatever. But it's just in general, I'm just not in the business of caring about 1 week like I care about 5 years, right? Just that's how that's my balance sheet. There's a difference between a toughness one where it's a deep bruise or this shoulder's separated, but I can pop it back in and deal with and grit out the pain with some Toradol or whatever. There's a difference between that one and the I can't make the thing go.
Yeah, it's not a broken finger on your non-throwing hand.
Exactly. This is not a toughness issue.
He's taping his fingers. He's wearing a special glove, and we're keeping it moving. This is a hamstring for the guy that scrambles at the highest rate in the National Football League since he came into the league. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to envision him playing against the Chiefs is kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. I'm not ruling him out. I just don't know how or why you would if there's any kind of a legitimate hamstring injury. And how could there not be? The way that it looked.
There has to be.
I mean, he was
in
incredible pain before he went into the blue tent. Something happened on that play. By the way, it was so painful that the ball just kind of, never mind, I don't need this anymore. Like, that was a pretty obvious pain that he felt one play after feeling something. The worst thing to me is he comes back and he plays, and now he's hurt, and he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
That's my point.
Now you're losing a season. Now you're on to December, and do you bring him back or do you not? Because at that point, Danny, like, the team's out of contention. And you've lost his second year where he didn't find that level that it is a rookie. To me, as soon as you can get him back to 100% to play in games, that should be the plan. And if that means no Kansas City, I'm sorry, then no Kansas City.